All right. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone, in fact. How the hell are you all doing this evening? Excuse me. Well, I choke here. Just occurred to me, actually, I didn't even put the countdown on or anything. I just launched right into this shit. So, we're keeping it casual this evening, I guess. Um, mm, how the hell's everyone doing this evening, anyway? Yeah, I like this one. The Drip Kaiser. It's Wakanda in time. Oh man, it's well, we obviously did a little super chat or stream the other night. Sorry, talking a little bit about Wakanda Forever. I was able to give my initial thoughts on it, and well, they weren't exactly a glowing review, but I'll probably be putting out like a proper, well thought out review, or about as well thought out as my reviews get tomorrow. But yeah, there was a few super chats that were left over from the other night. And so, well, never leave a super chat behind. So I'm here to answer them and just hang with you guys for a little bit, I guess. I have a slight confession to make in that there's not as many as I'd imagined. No, I must have forgotten how many I actually got through the other night, and so the result is there's not too many left over. So it could end up being like one of my shortest streams ever. We'll just see how it goes. But hey, how the hell's everyone doing anyway? Yeah, your dog's hanging on every word. He always is. That's the way greyhounds are. They're just balls of energy. What can I say? Um, What's the dog doing? He's just waiting. That's what they do best. He's waiting to strike. If you're lucky, he might roll over onto his back at some point during the stream. That's always a highlight. It's more interesting than anything, I'm gonna say. So fuck it. Keep your eyes on the doggo and just see what he does. Um, here we go. The film robot says, "Hey drinker, I met Flash Gordon last week. He says hi. Nice. Yeah, I got to interview Sam Jones a few months back. So, I think he's pretty active on the con circuit, and yeah, it's good. Maybe he's back in the UK or something. But yeah, it was good that I got a chance to speak to him, Flash Gordon himself, and he was a hell of a nice guy. It was a little like childhood dream finally fulfilled. Yeah. Someone said, "Yeah, watching the doggo is better than Disney." That's yeah, indisputable at this point. You know what? I'm just gonna the dog watching hour. What I'm gonna do one time, I'm just gonna set up a live stream, and I'm not even gonna be in it. It's just gonna be focused on the critical doggo in his bed, and people can just watch and see what the hell he does. you know, it'll be it'll be more interesting than me, I think. Anyway, allow me to get through these super chats at least. So there wasn't, like I say, there wasn't too many there. So it probably won't take me too long. But the last one that I saw, I think the other night, was from David March, who said, "Just back to you at bronze level. Looking forward to seeing the film. Thank you very much, man. It's all this generosity, like the back end, the enthusiasm that there's been for Rogue Elements. Like I'm fucking blown away by it. And well, as my director said." Um, just the other day, like every dollar counts at this point. We're obviously past the point of getting the film funded. That's obviously all going to be happening, which is fantastic. But now it's a case of what else can we add into it? How can we best make use of this extra budget? Whether it's having better action scenes, whether it's better like pyrotechnics, better stunt work, all that stuff. It just allows us to make everything that little bit better and that little bit more ambitious. So yeah, it's very much appreciated. I think we're into the final week of the Kickstarter. It's well past £250,000, so I think in dollars that's like 300k at least. So fantastic, man. I love it. The next one is from Alan Barbosa Silva. Says, "Hello, drinker. I hope you're having a good day. What's your expectations for Avatar 2?" First of all, thank you very much. I am having a good day. It's a lazy Sunday, and I like it. Um, Avatar 2. Uh, what can I say about this? Like, I've got faith in James Cameron still as a filmmaker. Like, I think it'll have the spectacle, and I'm sure visually it's going to look fantastic. I think it's not going to have the same impact that the original Avatar did because it's a different world we live in now. It's a different world of cinema, and the things that were so mind-blowingly good back in the day are kind of commonplace now. So it won't have that, but it's what 12, 13 years of a gap between films. That's a long time, but then, you had a fairly long gap between Terminator 1 and 2, and look how that turned out. He can deliver. So I'm not going to write the film off completely at this point, but I think, God, they're going to have to do something interesting with the story this time because it was a pretty generic story last time around. And, guys like Sam Worthington, who are leading the cast on this, he's your protagonist. He turned out not to be a thing, you know? We had a few years of them trying to make Sam Worthington into a thing, and he is not a thing. So he's not a box office draw. So it's gonna have to be the story. So we'll see what comes. Um, but yeah, I'll keep an open mind with it at the very least. I'm not just gonna say it's shit and write it off. Ashish Amin says, "Hey Drinker, what do you think of Zolo Miguel from Cobra Kai casting as the Blue Beetle?" I mean, I know somewhere between zero and fuck all about the actual Blue Beetle from the comics, so I don't know if he's a good match for it or not. Um, he's he tries his best as Miguel. Like he's a little bit prone to overacting at times when it comes for emotional scenes. It's like something out of a Spanish teleopera or something. But it fits with the tone of the show. And yeah, you could see the change that had come across him physically in I think the previous season of Cobra Kai. Like he'd gained a lot of weight. I guess he was trying to bulk up for the role. So he looked quite different there. Um, yeah. In terms of the comic books, though, I don't know if he's comic book accurate. All I can say is I mean, I quite like him as an actor. I don't think he's done amazing things in Cobra Kai, but hey, no, he's obviously still young and he's got to grow into it. So maybe he's got good things in store. Um, Next one is for As Prodigy, who says, "My uncle showed me The Last Samurai and had a few drinks as well. Are really good looking movies. Or sorry, really good movies. Um, what's this? My uncle showed me The Last. Yeah, yeah. I think what you're saying there is just generally it's a really good film. In which case, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Like I had almost forgotten how good it is because it had been a few years since I'd seen it and went to rewatch it for my review the other day. And God, it looks absolutely gorgeous. The acting's great. Like you've got Cruz and Ken Watanabe. They've got great chemistry together. Yeah, the battle scenes are great. It's all well constructed. The story's good. Yeah, loved it. Really good movie. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Jara Mayo says the new Black Panther should have been Steven Seagal. I would pay good money to see that. Fucking, that would be awesome. Dalton Gilbert says, "How drunk have you got to be to make a new Panther movie good?" I mean, they're going to struggle at this point. I'm sure there's going to be a Black Panther 3 because, nothing ever ends in the MCU. They just keep making more of them. Um, but I think they need to get rid of Ryan Coogler as writer. Keep him as the director because he's got he's perfectly good at directing stuff. But man, they need a different writing team. So yeah, that would probably be the best way to start. Um, Bobby Light says should have just made Killmonger the Black Panther. I mean, it would would be tough to do since he's dead, but yeah, I mean, um, he's Michael B. Jordan is obviously a charismatic actor. He's built like a fucking brick shit house. He could fill out the role perfectly well. But yeah, he's obviously gone now, so there's not much they can do there. Kevin Medina said, "Are you coming back to Orlando soon? Geeks and Gamers had a meetup here last week. It could have been, sorry, could have used a little bit of drinker. Also, Moshe is my brother-in-law. Small world. That's fucking cool. Yeah, Moshe was one of the guys that was at the fan meetup that we did in Orlando, like the last day I was there before I flew home. And yeah, I got to ride in his fucking sports car. Like he's a cool guy. And yeah, that was really good fun. So, well, when will the next one be? Yeah, we're waiting to get various things confirmed. So we are, or should I say, like the sort of booking agent that manages me and my con appearances. They are talking to various cons about getting like the schedule worked out for the next 6 months, effectively. And I don't want to go saying I'm going to be in this one because it looks really promising, and then somehow it falls through and I'm not there because, I had that happen with the Edinburgh convention. Like I was going to be at Scotland Comic Con. We arranged it fairly last minute, but it all seemed to be set up and we were good to go. And then the organizers basically just stopped responding, and we didn't hear until like a week or two later where they were like, "Yeah, we were totally overbooked. Yeah, we shouldn't have promised this because it wasn't happening." And I'd already gone online and said to everyone, "Hey, I'm going to be at Scotland Comic Con. Come and meet me." So I've pretty much made the rule now. Unless there's a fucking contract signed and it's absolutely cast iron guaranteed that I'm going to be there, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to. I don't want to, you know, create false expectations or anything because it's shit when that happens, and I don't want to be responsible for it. So yeah, I'll watch this space, and when I do have like official con announcements to make, I will absolutely make them. But yeah, you can pretty much guarantee I will be at more conventions in the year ahead. Alan Highland says, "What order should your books be read?" So, I mean, like if you look at them online, they're all ordered anyway. Like it'll say book one, book two, whatever. But so the first one is Redemption, second one's Sacrifice, then Betrayal, then Blacklist, and it kind of goes from there. So yeah, Redemption is your first one. If you want to read Dark Harvest, that is just like a standalone one. So yeah, that can you don't need anything prep wise for that. You can just go straight into it. Next one is. Sorry, here. Just waiting for it to catch up with me. Yeah. um, yeah. Man, everyone's going into comics. Isom cost me 150 in total. I can't keep doing this. Yeah, I think with my one, like that is. It's kind of an interesting one, right? Because as people know, I've got a comic on Indiegogo that's just like launched on that. Um, so for a start, it launched with a really short window, like just a couple of days. And I didn't fully understand why. I thought they just made a mistake when they launched it, but it's like they do it in two stages. So they do a really short launch like that, which allows them to just get the money they need to pay the artists and finish up the variant covers and all that stuff that they do behind the scenes, and then they do like a longer um, order period straight after that, which then is when they get all the main orders in. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really responsible for setting the prices or anything. I don't know the economics behind like how these comics are done on crowdfunding sites and everything. I know that mine comes as part of a bundle, so you'll get my comic, which is a new kind of war. You get a graphic novel along with it, which is like a much bigger like Rambo story set during Vietnam, and you get a bunch of like merch, like dog tags and stuff, all thrown in. So I think they're around about 45, $50. So again, fairly expensive, but you get a lot with it. So yeah, it's just how these things are done, I guess. But yeah, it was something that was offered to me like, God, at the start of the year probably, and we first talked about it, and then I pitched some ideas, and then I wrote the script and all that good stuff, and then I had to basically sit on it for months on end while they did the artwork and everything. So it's all just kind of come to fruition now, but I guess these things take time. It's my first ever comic though, so it was kind of a cool little thing to do. Never done anything like that before, so it's a hell of a change of pace to go from writing a novel that's like 500 pages long to writing a comic which is maybe 15, 20 pages, and it's very minimal text, as you might imagine. It's mostly images. Yeah. Thanks, man. Back to Rambo comic, the drinker bundle. Thank you. Yeah, I mean they hit their funding goal within like 24 hours, so it was fantastic anyway. And yeah, I think when this initial like 2 or 3 day period runs out, they're then going to do a longer sort of funding run to see how many people really want it, and that's when we would promote it properly. But yeah, obviously everyone who's ordered one so far will get it as well. Anyway, let me go on to the next one. Yeah, I am writing a comic. Yeah, if you look on Twitter and stuff, yeah, I've put the information there. So it's on Indiegogo so far because like it's you fund it like through crowdfunding and see how many people actually want it, and then it's made to order basically. But it's set during the Korean War, and it's about Colonel Troutman when he was a relatively young soldier and his experiences behind enemy lines during Korea, and then that kind of prompts him to come up with the idea for Rambo's unit years later. Um, anyway, I'll carry on. So the next question was Arcad, who says, I know Chadwick Boseman passed. Why did they have to kill off T'Challa? They've recast characters before, and a dedication to the original actor would have been a respectful way to acknowledge his passing. I mean, I did debate this myself. Like, what would have been the better way to handle this? Do you just recast him and not really, you know, not really say too much about it, or do you do what they've done, where you just have him die in universe and then try and move on from it from there? I think probably the more respectful way is what they've done. Dare I say it, that the character himself actually passes away, and you get to see the cast mourning for him, and they're all able to pay tribute to him then. But I think it all hinges on finding a suitable replacement, and I think that's one of the big areas where Wakanda Forever goes horribly wrong. Autex says, any thoughts on what you would like to see in Resident Evil 9? Setting, characters, plot, etc. I really have no clue where they could be going. Yeah, okay, so wasn't a huge fan of the gothic horror style that they went for in 8. Um, Obviously, Ethan's not in the picture anymore, so oh God, it's gonna be it's Rose, isn't it? Like his daughter, who was a baby in that game, is now they've skipped forward. They've time jumped it like 16 years or something. So she's an asshole teenager. I've got the horrible feeling that they're going to make her the main character in the next one. Don't really want it, if I'm honest, because I can see what they're going to do already. I'm sure she's going to have like latent psychic powers and all that crap. I just want like special forces guys or cops or whatever fighting zombies. Just keep it simple. I'm a simple man. I'm a drunk man, and this is what I like in my Resident Evil. You know, I'd love to see another Jill Valentine game because we haven't seen her in fucking ages. Like, what does she look like now? What's she been doing? Don't know. So yeah, stuff like that would be great. Yeah, bring in some of the OG characters. I want them back. God damn it. Next question is from Kevin O'Neill, who says, imagine a well written MCU miniseries about regular people and their lives before and after the snap. Follow up, how has your life changed going from regular jack off to full time content creator? So for the first question there, about just a kind of day in the life show for normal people almost. Yeah, like how do people cope with the blip? It could be interesting, you know. It would be there'd be no superheroes as such. There would be no like you don't necessarily need gigantic action scenes or anything. It could just be a drama. Like imagine a family drama where, you know, two or three members of your family just vanish for 5 years and then they come back and you're 5 years older and they're not. How the hell do they reintegrate? There's all sorts of interesting things you could do with that for sure. So I wouldn't be against that at all, but it would require Marvel to be capable of writing something that's good, which stands on its own merits and doesn't rely on a CGI fight scene to sell it. So I don't really rate their ability to do that anymore. As for the second one, yeah, man, I mean, I'm not going to lie, like being on YouTube and having the opportunity to do this stuff, it's opened doors for me to do awesome things, to have awesome experiences, whether it's like traveling halfway around the world to go to a convention in America or being able to do this short film that we're doing. Like my books are now getting turned into movies, and it's done through the power of crowdfunding, through people's, I guess, their belief in what we can accomplish, and that's incredible. It's a great feeling. So yes, it's opened the doors to doing lots of awesome stuff, and I'm really, I'm trying to make the most of it, and I'm trying to justify people's faith in me. As much as I dick around and I joke and stuff on social media and whatever, like I take this seriously, particularly when people are investing their own money in what we're doing, and I want to do my absolute best to produce something good at the end of it, and provide a bit of entertainment for people, because ultimately that's what I want. That's what I want to be able to do. And also point and laugh at all the shit movies that still get made, obviously. I'll never stop doing that. So yeah, I mean, I get paid, effectively to do something I just enjoy anyway, and I get the opportunity to do lots of extra stuff on top of that. So not an awful lot to complain about there. If I'm totally honest with you, it's been good shit. The last couple of years have been a hell of a ride, man. Um, Miner 69er says, "Good taste, sir. I've got the exact same T-shirt. I think that was the Whale and Yutani one I was wearing. No, actually, it was the Nostromo one I was wearing the other night. Yeah, I do like that T-shirt. It makes me feel good. I've got my Big Trouble in Little China one on tonight. It's the Wing Kong. So I like this one too. Gotta be honest. And the other one that was on that came in last night was Cute Bubbles 2007 says your thoughts on the Sandman and Alchemy of Souls. So I'm gonna unfortunately crush your aspirations there, sir. I haven't seen either of them, so I can't comment on either of them. I'm sorry. I just don't know about them. Which is a shit way to finish the other night's super chats, but I don't want to lie and tell you I've seen things that I haven't. Just give me a second because I know a few of them came in tonight while I was doing this. So, oh yeah, here we go. What is this one? Liam Basics says, "Bet you got some pretty big feet, mate." I'll keep them to myself. Blunt Philly Reviews says, "Hey drinker, sharing my experience. I went to the movie here in Philly. Very diverse crowd. The reactions were mixed at best. I kid you not. 3 times someone tried to start a slow clap and they all failed. Oh, brutal. Yeah, I mean there was no reaction at the cinema when I saw it. Like nobody reacted at all. Nobody laughed at any of the jokes because they weren't funny, and nobody seemed to show any emotion at the supposedly emotional parts. But it was a cinema in Scotland, so you're probably not going to get too much of that anyway. Um, Vladimir Taylor says, "Drinker, I know you're backlogged on movie review requests. I certainly am. However, is there monetary motivation that I could procure to motivate you to review a favourite show of mine? Regardless, all the best." I mean, I very much appreciate the offer, mate, but yeah, I don't want to go down that road where people are straight up paying me to review things because then I want to review things that are just appealing or that they're interesting for me or any reason really, like just something that I think I'd like to talk about for people. A movie that I think people should see or whatever. So yeah, I don't want to go down that road where I'm almost getting bribed to review things. But yeah, thank you for the offer. Um, Crazy Mr. Gigabyte says, "Good to see you. Looking forward to your thoughts on Wakanda Forever." Yeah, thank you. Um, Obviously, I gave a long, rambling review the other night, but I'll try and make something a bit more concise and provide a bit of insight, I guess, into where it went wrong. Um, Next one. Joseph L. says, "When Ocean Man pees, does he whip it out or just pee in his suit?" That is a really good question, actually. One that we'll never get the answer to. Because, yeah, when you think about it, right, when you see Namor's underwater kingdom, um, potentially there just could be piss and shit floating around everywhere because their toilets aren't going to work underwater like that. They're just gonna have to go in the ocean, and it's just gonna be there until the tide like sweeps it away or something. God damn, that's a horrific thought. Actually, when Shuri was getting a tour of the place, there should have been like turds floating past her suit, and she'd be like, "Oh no, I don't want to protect this place. This place needs to get destroyed." Damn. Yeah, I need to mention that in my review actually. Things that the directors didn't think about. Um, Casey Boyd says, "What do you think about Doctor Fate getting killed off in Black Adam? I thought Brosnan was the best part. Agreed. Also, since you're on a war drama run recently, have you seen Grave of the Fireflies?" Yeah, I have. Oh God, that one's a harrowing one. What talk about a bleak ending? Yeah, that's a fantastic movie. Great animation, just great writing. Um, doesn't really put a foot wrong. And yeah, Brosnan probably was the best part. I think when Muller and I were talking about Black Adam, a lot of our kind of cautious praise for the film was like the actors are really nice. We like them, and it's that kind of film where they got a decent cast. They're all quite likable. I think they all do a good job, and like regardless of the script being fairly shit and fairly bland. It's like, yeah, the cast elevate it probably more than it deserves, I think. Brosnan most of all. He's a nice guy to see on screen. You know, he's got charm, he's got charisma. Um, Thomas Chipperfield, sorry, says Velma's gay. By the way, she's gay to the max, and I would expect nothing less from a modern adaptation. D-Rock says they really exploited Chadwick Boseman's death. I mean, they could have done worse, but yeah, it's like they wanted to hook you with that from the first moment you watch the film. I didn't. Did people not say that they almost like hijacked his Twitter as well and used that to promote the movie? So literally, like using a dead man's social media account. That is grim, man. And I've heard rumors as well that Chadwick didn't like the script for this movie, like because it had been completed by the time he passed away, and he was already like objecting to a lot of it because I don't think they changed it a huge amount. The basic storyline was still the same. You know, it still had Namor in it. It was still about the war between Wakanda and like the underwater kingdom and the search for more vibranium. They've just incorporated T'Challa's death into it. It's the same basic story, and he didn't like it, which is kind of interesting. I think he obviously had taste. Put it that way. Um, Drew Alexander says, as a black man, Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie leaves me feeling confused. I see the morsels of good writing, but I can't get over the bad writing that was in the movie. But I can't give it a bad review. Do you think I'm suffering from racial bias? I mean, like, do you mean like you feel pressured into giving it a good review, or like you actually want to like it? I'm not sure which direction you're going with that, but um, yeah, I mean, ultimately, like if you watched it and you didn't enjoy it, like there's obviously a reason for that, and the fundamental reason is it's not a very good movie. And I guess you would just have to be honest about that. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like I can understand the pressure to want to like it. Like I know the first one was this real cultural movement, and it was, it touched a lot of people. You know, regardless of its subjective merits or whatever, like it became a real, you know, touch point, I guess, for that whole community, which is fair enough, but it doesn't mean you should accept shitty products that follow it up. You know, ultimately, you should expect good quality storytelling. Um, and if you don't get it, then you should make that fact known, because otherwise they're not going to do any better. They've got no reason to. They're just going to keep giving you shit movies. I wouldn't want that, and I don't think you do either. So I guess that's my advice for what it is. Um, Person says Black Panther Wakanda Forever has a CS and a 95% audience. I don't think it is. Is it not like down to about 80 or something now? Um, yeah, I mean I don't know, man. Like I don't think the professional critics would criticize it too much. Just kind of like the original Black Panther. But I mean, when I've been on Friday Night Tights, when I've been on EFAP, when I've talked about it myself, like the more I think about all the problems that this film has, like it's not good. It's way inferior to Black Panther. Um, yeah, obviously I can summarize it a lot better in my own review, like when I do that tomorrow. But yeah, it's not a good movie. Mohammed El Zankali says, hello, Drinker. Been an avid listener for a while now. Love what you do. Will you do another Writer's Corner stream? You inspired me to start writing again. Awesome. And best of luck with your writing. Will I do another one? Yeah, possibly. You know, there's plenty of writers out there. It's always fun to talk to them, compare experiences and stuff, and see how we all kind of got to where we're at. So yeah, I'd definitely do some more stuff like that. Um, Brian J gave me 10 US dollars, so thank you, my friend. Kyle Sanger says, hey Drinker, saw your 28 Days Later review. I love 28 Weeks Later, and Jeremy Renner's shocking and brutal death scene always gets me. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, it's got moments like that. I think they went down the Hollywood road with it. It's more action packed. It's definitely bigger budget, and in a lot of ways, it just feels more conventional. You know, it kind of loses that shock and that impact of that first movie. But yeah, there's some brutal deaths in it. I always like that bit when Robert Carlyle first transforms and kills his wife. And she's like strapped down to this hospital gurney, so she can't even defend herself. It's like absolutely horrible to watch. So stuff like that is really effective. But yeah, I mean, if I had to pick between them, I'd always go for the first one. JS Pena says, please review Legend of the Guardians by Zack Snyder. I need to look at that actually. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah, hopefully it's better than his usual stuff. Norwegian Tax Authority says, when are you recommending Train Spotting? Rewatching the teen movie in my 30s hits hard. So much truth about life and 11 out of 10 Scottish humour. Yeah. I mean, Train Spotting was one of those unique movies that you can't replicate. They tried obviously with T2, but it was a very different beast. But yeah, it captured, I guess, Scottish culture and life at the time. Basically, everyone was just junkies back then, and not much has changed to be fair. They're just a bit more classy about it now, but yeah, man, it's an interesting movie in that I found myself not really rooting for anyone apart from Spud. Maybe Spud's nice. Everyone else is just a fucking asshole in it. So yeah, it's an interesting film. D-Rock says, Critical Drinker, as a Mortal Kombat fan, I think you were way too lenient on the 2021 film. That said, Black Panther Wakanda Forever really exploited Chadwick Boseman's death. I mean, that's fair enough, man. With Mortal Kombat, I don't know. I just went into it not really looking for story. I just wanted a bunch of fighting and a bunch of gory deaths, and it kind of delivered that. So that's really all I was looking for. It's just one of those movies that I would file under dumb, fairly predictable, and just violent, gory. Give the audience what they want. That's kind of what Mortal Kombat was. Yeah, I didn't really expect anything more from it, I guess, is my takeaway from that film. Um, Celic S says, it's no one's talking about prolonged exposure to vibranium causes paranoia. So far, every society that discovered it became an insular ethno-state. I don't know if they're just playing on this human desire to like hoard resources or something, but yeah, it's an interesting thing to speculate on. Does it actually fuck you in the head somehow? Maybe. Maybe it would explain a few things. The Icecast Live says, loving the books and the streams. Keep up the good work, Drinker. Thank you. I love what you do. Appreciate it, man. Krista Gomez says, love your channel. Trump 2024. No idea. I don't know about American politics. Yeah, maybe he'll come back. Maybe he's going to dominate. I don't know, man. I'm not really keeping track of it. Andrew McCarthy says, hey Drinker, my video on Cavill is almost complete. I just need a program to put it all together. Which program do you use? Yeah, I'm surprised it's almost complete then if you don't have a program to edit it. But I use VideoPad Professional, so pretty simple timeline-based editor. Really, it's easy for splicing clips together. You can layer it. You can layer your audio tracks. The scene transitions and stuff are fairly, simple but effective. So it works for me. So that's probably the one I'd use. The Shiny Chespin says, have you ever read Berserk? It's a series you might love and rivals Lord of the Rings. I haven't read it, no. Did they not turn it into an anime as well? I'm pretty sure people have been recommending that to me. But yeah, haven't really had the time for it, I'm afraid. Reb L Scum says, I see what you did there. Yeah, Yo Drinker, just recently discovered you and I'm already a big fan. Thank you. Fellow Scotsman too. Awesome. Thanks for all that you do. Get a pint on me later, bam. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. The Perfect says, a Black Panther movie without T'Challa is akin to the legendary production of Hamlet without the Prince of Denmark. It's, yeah, his absence is felt in this film. I'll say that much. Jake LaRosa says, do more with Voxis. Also, my wife hates your accent, but I find it arousing. Well, I mean, you're only human. What can I say? Yeah, Voxis is great to have on. He's a busy chap, and well, it's quite hard for him to do live streams with the character that he is. But he did a fantastic job on that Lord of the Rings stream, man. It was great to talk to him. It'd be great to bring him in for an open bar sometime. Actually, that'd be good. DD says paint drying is better than She-Hulk, which is better than Wakanda Forever. You might be right, actually. Nah, I mean, to be fair, I would definitely rank Wakanda Forever above She-Hulk. It is not that diabolically bad, but it's bad. John Orchard says, why can't they make Black Panther like the Phantom comic series? The Phantom is a title and it's passed down to each new generation. I mean, that's what the Black Panther is, really. It was passed down from father to son. It's just that, people associate T'Challa with Black Panther, and it was blighted by the loss of the actor, which was a real tragedy. Um, Appian says Riri Williams felt like the day one DLC on a movie. Yeah, um, she was awkwardly crowbarred into this film. Like I said this before with the EFAP guys, it really felt like she was a last minute addition and she wasn't meant to be there because she has almost no actual impact on the film. She's just a MacGuffin that people fight over. She could have been replaced by just a machine or something that people wanted. It's that level of non interaction. And she's kind of just treading on the toes of Shuri, who's essentially the same character, another teenage child prodigy who's a technical genius. It's like two people doing the same role. Weird. GW says, "Have you seen the Boondock Saints? Fun movie." I have indeed, yeah. Apart from Norman Reedus's fucking horrific Irish accent, it's a good fun film. Yeah, I like it. Casey Boyd says, "Also, Drinker, how does it feel that your Kickstarter has done better than Call Jane domestic box office?" Maybe a sign that independent films will triumph over political junk. Elizabeth Banks had media attention and still failed. Yeah, man. Um, her tactic of like saying men are shit and everything that they do is awful, but they should come and watch our movie and support it. It's funnily enough, it doesn't work, and yeah, we seem to have done pretty well so far. The challenge now is to turn that into a good fucking short film, which is what we're working on. So we will do our best. But yeah, it does give me a sense of Schadenfreude. I'm not gonna lie. Just give me 1 second to refresh this here. Okay. Okay, Richie Rich says, "Drinker, big fan of yours for a long time. Kept up with Andor by any chance? Slow burn, but by episode 5 it really picks up. Andy Serkis gives one of the best performances of the entire Disney era." Yeah, so I'm stuck on episode 5. I think episode 6 is the big attack on the Imperial facility. So I am going to go back to it. I just kind of like tuned out because I had, House of the Dragon, I had She-Hulk, I had Rings of Power to watch, and Andor just kind of fell by the wayside. But I was okay with it up until that point. It wasn't amazing, but it was better than anything else that Disney had made Star Wars wise. So it's got to mean something. Tono Inclan Prado says, "I like this new Black Panther movie a lot more than the other. Interesting. But I find myself hoping that the villain would win. I feel that's the main problem." Wow. I mean, yeah, they're both assholes. I guess that's the problem. Like the Wakandans are assholes, but the Atlantean fish people are kind of dicks as well. They're both isolationists. Yeah, I kind of feel like in a way Namor's people had a better justification. So yeah, I get where you're coming from there. Um, the Icecast Live says, "Hey Drinker, why does Hollywood seem to think it's okay for heroes to murder cops these days?" Well, I mean, if this was a political channel, I'm sure I could spend a long time talking about that. But yeah, that scene was pretty fucking telling. Those guys were legit killed by that drone strike or the drone crashing down on them, literally. And yet, no mention was made of it. That is weird stuff to be shown to people. And I can't shake the feeling that there's a slightly sinister motivation behind it. But hey, maybe that's just me overthinking it. Um, Uncle Pappy Wolf says, "If they put you in charge of fixing Marvel, what direction would you take and who would you hire? Both TV shows and movies, how would you link them?" Fuck, man. I mean, if I was put in charge of this, I would probably suspend all future TV shows. They are not helping. Yeah, strip the series down. Obviously, we're on to phase 5 now. I'd probably take a break as well, and before releasing the next movie, and really think like, what is our roadmap for this phase? Where's it going? What's the overall storyline? Cut a lot of flab out. The Marvels. I don't see it succeeding. Funnily enough, stop making this kind of pandering garbage that they've been making. And yeah, like I say, they are spread too thin resource wise. They are spread too thin with writers, with creatives, with VFX houses trying to do all these projects simultaneously. It needs to be pared back, and it might mean less revenue, but it's going to mean much happier fans in the long run. So that would be my first step, really. As for mapping out like a new cohesive direction for it, that would take more time probably than I can, answer here. I would need time to actually plan out some kind of villain and some kind of storyline for it. But yeah, it's got to be slowed down. They are producing too much, and the quality has just gone down the shitter. Um, Justin Gonzalez says, found the movie decent. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but again, the bar has been set low with Phase 4. By the way, I want to know your take on Rush. Yeah, so that was the F1 movie. I liked it. Yeah, I thought the actors were really good. I don't know how faithful it is to historical events. I know that rivalry was very, very real. Obviously, you've got the crash and stuff, and Lauda getting burns. So that's all included in the film. But yeah, as for the interpersonal stuff, I don't know how much of that is real. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. Um, but yeah, for the movie, like yeah, I think that low bar, it's changed people's perceptions, but that's not a good thing. It's not enough to say, well, this film's the least terrible out of the phase that we've had so far. It shouldn't be like that, and it just encourages Marvel to be lazy as fuck. Um, Reb L Scum says, P.S. Have you ever thought about the chase in TLJ is suspiciously like the one in Battlestar Galactica? Just slow moving fleets following each other. I mean, yeah, the premise is the same, but in Battlestar Galactica, they're getting hunted from place to place rather than like it just being one continuous chase sequence. But yeah, I get your point. Casey Boyd says, don't watch Berserk, there's only one good arc that was adapted in the anime. The manga is incredible. I'm not sure how much you enjoy reading manga comics as opposed to watching. Some hate the style. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not a big comic book reader in general, so I think that probably wouldn't work for me. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about Berserk at least. Cracklin says, idea for a Marvel villain, Wokester. He, she, they poisons minds and turns all the Marvel heroes into lame caricatures of themselves. Only the dead classic heroes can take it out. I would love to see that. Like, fucking Elon Musk or something just needs to buy over Marvel and institute something like that because it sounds like the kind of mad shit that he would do, and he would take great pleasure in doing it. So I'd be all in for that. Fuck it. Um, and you, sir, says, now that we know you're a Fallout fan, have you seen anything about the new TV show coming out? The set photos look straight out of the games. I haven't seen much about it, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, I guess we'll see. You know, video game to TV adaptations historically haven't done great, but maybe we're moving into a realm where it's getting slightly better. But yeah, it would be great to see the Fallout universe done justice, you know, with the dark kind of satirical humor and stuff included. I think the world is ripe for an adaptation. I think it could be great fun if they do it right. Um, George the Giant Slayer says Wakanda Forever is another corporate monstrosity. Hollywood is no longer in the business of making magic, just preachy homework. Very true. Cookie cutter factories homogenizing stories into bumper sticker slogans with CGI emotions, sterilizing legends and archetypes. All hail Drinker. Thank you very much, man. And that was for $100 US, so very much appreciated, mate. Thank you. And Juan Sendegar says, Drinker, does Black Panther 2 make Black Adam good? I mean, it doesn't make it objectively good, but comparatively, yeah, I'd say I enjoyed Black Adam more than Wakanda Forever. Um, so if for what that for whatever that means, um, yeah. So I think that was it in terms of the super chats. Yeah, I think we did it. And look at that. It's only like 45 minutes, so it's a nice efficient little stream tonight. Yeah, like I say, guys, I mean, this was going to be a fairly short one because there wasn't too much to get through there. But those were my thoughts on Wakanda Forever so far. And like I say, I'm going to put up a proper review tomorrow so you can get a more concise version. But yeah, thank you for the people that have joined me tonight. Thank you for the mods for keeping an eye on things. And thank you for all these extra super chats. Like, you really didn't have to do it, but no, I very much appreciate it. You guys have been awesome as always. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it on a nice positive note there after talking about Wakanda Forever for the past hour or so. But yeah, the next time you see me will be probably open bar on Thursday. If not before, I might have something else lined up that I'm trying to get sorted out, and we'll see what we can do there. But for now, at least, that's all I've got for today. So go away now.